Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to make a fun Dollar Tree inspired Valentine's wreath, and I hope you'll stay tuned. I saw this, hold on, I gotta get it all, it's a long thing. I found this at the Dollar Tree. It's the word love, and it's all in one long piece. I thought it'd be fun to try and figure out a way to make it work on one of these wreaths, and I wanted to cover the wreath with this mesh, but because that mesh you can see through, I thought, well, I better use some other ribbon, and I found this at our local Salvation Army, and so I put my whole 99 cents worth into it, and I figured we would see if this will adhere. I'm not sure because it's got this backing that's this shiny stuff. I'm hoping my hot glue will hold, but you never know. So I'm just forewarning you that that could be an issue. All right, we're gonna put lava glue right there. Ouch. No, I didn't glue myself. Yes, I did. I was just lying about it so you wouldn't feel sorry for me. Because I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I should have used my little tool and then I didn't. Okay. That is a good length. And see how, when you put it on, you see how it curls? It wants to curl back on itself. I think that's why it makes it so much easier when you're just doing one strip at a time instead of trying to put the wrap it around like you would if it was a thinner ribbon. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut a bunch of 5.5-inch strips because I think that's going to be a lot easier and a lot faster ultimately. I mean, it doesn't look like it is right now, but once I start doing it, I think it's going to be a lot faster because it's going to be the actual fiddly part of it isn't going to be as bad as it was a minute ago when I was trying to figure out how to get the ribbon to stay and not be so waffly. You want to still make sure you pull it tight. 5.5 is actually a little bit too long. I don't know what the right length is, but 5.5 is just a little bit too long. See how it goes out the top? Maybe 5.25. Just play with it yourself so that you have an idea of what length you like. But like I said, I think 5.5 is a little bit too long. But maybe your wreath is a little bit thicker than mine was, or you know what I mean? It's all a mystery to me. But I do think that looks a lot better. And so let me continue on, and I'll be back when I've gotten to the other end. So I've covered the whole wreath. It was much easier doing the 5.25-inch strips was perfect, and it went really quickly. Really thought that was a smart way to go. Then what I want to do is I'm going to take this what do they call that, mesh. I'm putting a little bit of glue on my glue stick, and I'm going to shove it into the end. One of my viewers showed me this a long time ago, so that the next glue stick doesn't get stuck. You know, it doesn't take forever for it to load up. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I cut probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 feet. It doesn't look like it, but it's probably that long of this mesh. I was thinking this would be easier to do this in strips, but we'll wait and see. And then I'm going to cut it about maybe 1 inch wide, maybe longer, wider. It's not going to be perfect. It's just going to make it so it's easier for me to wrap. Hopefully this is going to work. If it doesn't, you'll be the first to know, because you know, I don't want to keep it a surprise. Surprise, it didn't work. Alright, so I have all these little strips. And I'm going to untangle them they're more like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 feet, maybe 2 feet. I don't know. They're not that long. But I wanted to be able to wrap them around and have a little bit of, you know, a little bit of length to wrap it. And I'm just going to start again on the back. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there so we can get it going. And then this should be a lot easier to work with because it is so thin and you don't have the concern where I did before where you're going to have puckering. You don't have that when you have a really thin ribbon like this. Not even ribbon, a trim, whatever you call it. I'm overlapping it a little bit. Sorry if I'm off screen. Kind of hard to do this stuff because it attaches to everything. It sticks to you. It sticks to the wreath, which is good. And I'm not putting a lot of hot glue on under layers of this because it doesn't need it. It's pretty easy to just wrap. Now, this piece, when it ends, it's going to end almost to the back. So I don't want to do that. I want to have it end on the back. So I'm going to cut it off. Like right there. And then we'll just glue that down and then we'll go on to the next one. Yeah, I know I should be using my little silicone thing. There it is. I got it. Don't worry. It's here. Okay. Next strip. As I said, this stuff really attaches to itself and everything else. I probably should have gone a little bit wider with my strips, but I just didn't, you know, I haven't played with this yet. This, you know, this glittery stuff, so I wasn't really sure how easy it was going to be to work with. I've got some strings. If you have glue strings, you should, before you attach this layer, I should have, like right there, I have a glue string. And what I should have done is I should have taken my heat gun and melted those before I added this layer because I don't know if it'll melt the that mesh. Let me put it up here so you can see. See this right here? If you just run your glue gun over it, that's a dog hair, in case you wondered. You just want to make sure that anything that looks like glue, you should melt it now. You don't have to worry about gluing it down because it's so lightweight. It just kind of stays where you put it, which is nice. So I think you've got a gist of what I'm doing. I'm just wrapping it around, and I'll be back once this is all done so we can go on to the next stage. I was going to put our letters, you know, kind of like this around the wreath, but because the wreath is red and the letters are red, I decided to use some gold glitter paper to line the back of this. So I wanted to show you something that you might not think about when you're cutting out paper like this. When you have glitter cardstock and you are going to trace it, you can't really trace it on this side because it's almost impossible with the paper and pen. And if you use your letter this way and trace it, you're going to have a backwards E. Just thought I'd tell you that. So you have to flip your letters over when you do this. So I'm going to make my letters a little bit bigger than what I'm tracing them, but I'm going to cut them out, or I'm going to trace them as is, the size that they are, and then I'm going to cut them a little bit larger so that I have a border around them. That's my thinking anyway. Because otherwise, what's the point of doing it if you can't even see it, you know, if I'm just backing it. So those are my letters. And then I just want to, I gave myself, as you can see, I gave myself a little bit of border around everything so that I could just do something like this and just cut trying to do it as straight as possible. I could use my paper trimmer, but you won't be able to do that with the O, clearly. And so I figured since I can't do it with the O, I might as well just cut all of them out. All right, let's lay our E on it and see how I did. I don't think it's too bad. What do you guys think? Ta-da! Well, this part is kind of weird, but I can always fix that. If you didn't know, I got a scan and cut for Christmas, but I'm not letting myself use it until I clean my craft room, and I'm almost finished with it, and my craft room is a horrible, horrible mess. It always is. I'm one of those people that when I get going on a project, I just get everything out, and then I never put everything back. Even when I'm done, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done, and then I don't put things back, which is not the way you should be doing it. On the other hand, it would be nice if I had like a fairy godmother that would just be like, oh, Sandy's done. Let's put her stuff away for her. Wouldn't that be great? I think I would be a happy crafter if I had a fairy godmother. Fairy crafty godmother. Just saying. It might be a little bit too... the border might be a little bit too big, but for now, I'm happy with it. So let me finish cutting everything else out, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've made my letters, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to put those on in just a second. But first, I wanted to make my knot. I cut a length of ribbon that's probably 8 inches long. It's just, I think it's a grosgrain ribbon. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to just do a little knot at the end. You know, my skill set on knots on camera is like poor. Let me see if I can do it like that. Don't worry, eventually I will make a knot. Okay, I think that's both ends. So I just want to make sure both ends are pulled through, and then I'm going to tie it or pull it tight. The tighter the better. And then I have these little pins that have pearls on them. They're not long pins. They're maybe 3/4 of an inch long. They're not very long. And I'm going to put 3 of them. Well, or 2. I haven't decided yet. I've got 2 of them. And I'm going to cut off the extra... that extra ribbon that I don't need, I'm going to cut off. Just hack it off like usual, Sandy. Why wouldn't you? Then we're going to pick a place that we think is the ugliest spot on our wreath to hide this. I think I'm going to probably put it, let's see, I'm going to put it right here. I'm just going to jab my 2 pins into the foam like that. And then let's see. That doesn't look bad. Do you think it looks bad? I don't think so. And then, because I'm, you know, safety conscious, I'm going to move everything. And by everything, I just mean the ribbon. I put a little dollop of glue, and then I'm going to pull it into that dollop of glue. That way, even if the pins do pull out, that should stay, right? That's my goal. Now we know where the top center of our project is. What I think I need to do is figure out how to make that L not look so horrible, but what I was thinking is I might just hang the L or hang the O so that you can't really see that much of the L. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense. One thing I did learn from this is I don't think the hot glue is going to hold up. I think I'm going to need to change to tear tape or maybe E6000. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, I don't even know if the tear tape will hold this, but we're going to try. I put some tear tape under, you know, in that part where I'm faking it. Don't tell anybody. It's going to be our little secret. Then, when I put this down on it, it looks fine. The only thing is that the hot glue just is not holding it at all. It just kind of fell right off of there. So I think what we're going to have to do is figure out a way to peel off the hot glue off the back. Oh, that's not too hard to do. All right, so we're ready to roll. Now that I fixed the L, I guess I could put the L above the O, but not so that the heart. And then, how's that look to you guys? And then we want to put one of these. I think I want to put it maybe like that. I don't know. What do you think? The voting is open. Who are we kidding? The voting's closed. I got no clue. I don't know. I guess I wanted the heart to be at an angle. Did I? I don't know if I did or not. I know it doesn't look pretty right now. Don't worry. It'll look better. Or else you won't even see the video. I'm going to pull back all my letters. Even though I did put glue and tear tape on these, I put Barely Art glue and tear tape all between these letters. But for some reason, nothing seems to be holding. So even though I did the hot glue before and it didn't hold, now apparently everything else isn't holding it. So I'm just going to add, I'm trying to pull back the paper, and if it pulls back, then I'm adding hot glue. As I said before, I think the first letter I should put on is the O. And the reason for that is because the O is going to hold the L up. It's going to be like the, I don't know, we'll call it the building block. If I need to add more hot glue underneath, because I'm not exactly certain if I'm hitting it, you know what I mean, if where I'm gluing is actually gluing. Lots of glue under it now. I'm going to look inside here and put some more glue. This bad boy is going to be glued up. It's not coming down. Down, apart, whatever I meant to say there. It's not coming apart or down. Okay, let's do our L. Now I think I'm going to have to, because I'm putting the L on top of that, I think I'm going to have to put some foam tape behind that, or a foam piece of some kind. Hold on, let me grab one. So I found these really thick foam pieces. I think I'm going to need something that thick underneath the L. And the adhesive that you use on these foam things is fine for normal activities, but I don't know if it's going to really hold on this weird, what do you call that stuff? Glittery, papery stuff. I don't know. Trim. I don't know. We're going to call it that. I put this much of the foam tape. It's that thick. It's very thick. And I think I needed it to be that thick to cover under that. And I think I'll put it right there. So I need to put some hot glue right there. I'm going to put some underneath, well, on all of that foam. And then I'm going to put it all right like that. Then we need to put our V there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And then I have to decide where the rest of it's going to lay. Let's see how that does. Then we need to put the E, or should I put the E right there? It's unbelievable how many glue sticks you go through when you do this stuff. You think, oh, 8 or 9 ought to do it for this project, and like 30 glue sticks later, you're going, jeepers creepers. How many more of these glue sticks do I need? That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over. I want to make sure everything's well adhered. And I don't know if you can see this, but I need to put something under that V. Can you see that in there? I've got a big gap, and I think that that's going to be problematic at some point. Maybe not right now, but at some point I think it will be. Flip this over and see what we can push up in there where that V is, because clearly that's not going to do well long term. You know, when you use these glue dots, the outside pieces of it still work great, but a lot of people think it's, you know, just trash. It's not. It's super useful stuff. I have to figure out how I can push this in there, though. I'm gonna have to do that off screen. I'm sorry about that. Can you see it now? Look at all that foam tape. It's all weird looking in there. I'm gonna then put hot glue on top of that. And then all we have left to do is put the heart on. I think it's really cute. Do you think it's cute? I think it is. I hope our niece and nephew like it, or our great niece likes it. Depends on who ends up with it, right? I think that's cute putting that in, like right in there, don't you think? Don't you think? We're voting again. We're not doing significant voting, but we're voting. Okay. All right, I'm going to just tuck in like that. There it is. Well, I don't know about you, but I think it turned out really cute. I know I'm patting myself on the back, and I shouldn't, because that's not right. But on the flip side, I got to be honest with you. This took me a long time, and I didn't know if it would ever be finished, because I had so many things go wrong with it. But I'm really happy with the end result, and I hope you are too, and that total dollars involved. This, the entire love, and I have an extra heart, was $1.25. Then the wreath form was $1.25. This was $1.25, and then that red velvet ribbon I got from Salvation Army for 99 cents for 25 yards of it. And that was the extent of it. So in the end, it cost basically $5 to make this. So I think that was a good deal. And I hope you enjoyed this and that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.